they have such deep hero pools, and you don't even know what position they're necessarily going to be playing in. So it's very difficult to predict what Mousesports are going to be trying to do.
I agree with you there, and that's why I think G2 needs to just focus on themselves, getting themselves a comp they know they can perform on, regardless of what they go up against. That should be the focus.
So with the Arden as a first pick, you have to figure that's likely to be Justman playing the captain then. It's one of his best heroes. Obviously, they could still change it up. They could still flex it, but they're giving up the Black Feather in order to get the Arden. So a very different priority than what we see from just about every other team.
Indeed, the Kestrel is still open, so it could still come through for Mousesports. I don't expect G2 to pick it up after they have picked up the Black Feather, unless they want to run it in the jungle. The Batiste ban also, that's another interesting one. It works really good against dive compositions, and having Black Feather already, that does make sense.
Grace going to be the ban for Mousesports, so again, offering G2 the Black Feather Kestrel combo if they want it. Hundor, I don't think we've seen him play Kestrel too frequently. It's normally either the Baron or the Celeste or the Black Feather going into his hands. We'll see, because we obviously do know that they are not afraid to put the Black Feather in the jungle for Dark Potato as well. So grabbing that Lyra, making sure that they get themselves a healer, and again, it's more about saving that last pick for a counter pick than it is about making sure that they get the Lyra, because it's not likely Mousesports would have looked for that.
Do you know what I want to see here, Munchables? I want to see them pick Vox and then pick Catherine and run CP Arden like we saw in EA, and it worked so incredibly well. They get the Kestrel, but this most likely will be a Captain Arden. What they're going to round out their jungle with is going to be very interesting to see.
You know, I would love to see that CP Arden too, but against a Lyra, I'm not sure that that's a composition that would work out. It was all about being able to out-survive your opponents, and Lyra's pretty good at surviving. Kestrel is going to be the lock-in here for Mousesports. Fairly unsurprising carry pick coming on through. We know how good Leon is specifically on Kestrel as well.
Oh, and I'm the Doom. Like, you can't really count out either of these two getting their hands on that Kestrel, so that could even be what the discussion is about right now for Mousesports, is trying to decide who is going to be playing this one. So it's one of the, again, the interesting dynamics of this team, but it looks like it will be going to the lane as the Samuel comes through for Mousesports. It's still a question of who's going to be playing what position, but you generally at least can know which position each hero is going to be in.
Alpha is still open, Cruel is still open, and Reza is still open. Reza probably the best pick here for G2 if I had to guess, just because it works really well against Samuel and Kestrel. It's very good at diving, and with the composition that G2 have already drafted with the Black Feather and Lyra, they want to dive, they want to finish off targets on the back line. So G2 is going to be a comfort pick here also for Dark Potato, because he has multiple options. He can choose and decide from what he feels most comfortable on playing here.
We'll see where they want to go with this one. Against such a lack of dive, I wouldn't be too surprised to see them pick up a Baron for Hundor, just because he loves that pick so very much. But
that is true.
It's whether or not that's the direction they want to go. Obviously, a Black Feather doesn't really synergize super well with a Baron.
Yeah, it may not be a Baron just because a Baron is often picked into squishier compositions, and the Samuel and the Arden are both rather durable. It can do wonders against the Kestrel, but against the other two, you're not going to be able to just blow them up in an instant. So they do go with this Alpha pick. Alpha, again, I still personally feel it's one of the strongest junglers you can get on the current update. And we've been seeing it time and time again, able to have a massive impact.
Easily, by far, you're right. She was one of the strongest junglers, and there isn't too much mobility from the set of... forgot their name, but the Ace set. Mousesports, there we go. Mousesports, they have the Kestrel and the Samuel. They don't have a lot of mobility, so the prime directives landing from Alpha is going to be a fairly easy thing to do, and then following up with the damage from Black Feather. G2 composition looking scary right now.
It has to be said, we kind of have a classic kite back poke composition versus a classic dive composition here. Like, in the history of Vainglory, does that favor one side, or is it all about execution?
It's all about execution, because the kite back composition, as soon as they try and dive, kite back can get away, but it is very difficult to escape a Black Feather and an Alpha. They have so much ability to continuously dive. It's not just that one hard engage, it's a engage and then stay engaged.
Right, it's also about the picks in those compositions that are trying to execute the two different strategies, and depending on the meta. Right now, in the meta of 2.9, I would say the dive composition with the Black Feather and the Alpha has the advantage.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about the early game, and especially the Elder Treants, how those are going to be contested coming in here. Do we feel like either of these compositions has an advantage on putting their front foot forward? Are we just going to see skirmishes for those objectives?
It's very possible because Samuel, if he uses his Drifting Dark, he has very fast clear speed. And if he goes up to lane after he secures an Elder Tree, that's a lot of sieging potential that can come out as well.
At the same time, though, you got to figure Blackfeather and Alpha, they both have a heavy burst damage in their kits at level 1. They're likely going to be the ones heavily contesting the Elder.
We could even see steals coming out. We'll have to see. It's time to get on into the game, though. Hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know whether you want Mouse to take this one and upset the apple cart, or if G2 can get themselves back onto the board and get climbing those standings. It's time to get on into this one. Medic and Denominate, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Munch. I'm going to break down this action with Denominate, my NA brethren, my brother from another mother. Going to break down Mouse facing up against G2, and G2 know that they need to win today. We've seen SK already go through to the semi-finals. G2 will be wanting to do the same.
Yeah, and G2 obviously sitting just a few points shy of SK. If G2 can come through and win this weekend, they'd be in a great spot looking into the final week of the Vainglory8. Obviously, SK was able to win both of their games earlier, putting them at 32 points. Sitting here at 26. Will need to win the entire weekend to pass SK if they get, up to one more point. So definitely very, very close here up at the top of the lineups, as Mouse going to be looking to keep G2 down, but G2, they've really been looking good these past couple weeks. Obviously able to take down SK in day 1 last week, as Justman now taking a bunch of damage. This is an interesting rotation out of Mouse all the way to the backs of G2 here.
Yeah, super aggressive from Mouse. They want to try and steal this away. Dark Potato is able to secure that back. And for the Treant as well, it's going to be a big engage. That goes over to Mouse. Hundled so low. Keanu as well. Dark Potato trying to jump around, but already first blood goes over to Mouse. And now Dark Potato gets popped into the infinite reboot. And he's not going to come back from that. He's killed 2 kills to Mouse. And a great early invade by them.
That was a very aggressive rotation, and they found what they were looking for on it. They found first blood and an additional kill, both Leon and I'm the Doom respectively getting those, and that's going to allow them a little bit of an edge. I mean, it's not much, but 400 gold here at the start in under 2 minutes, 500 gold. Definitely a good place to start, as now Leon is rotating down with Justman again, so this is a little bit interesting. They're already coming down to aggress this Treant, and Leon is missing the farm in the lane at this point. Hundor, it's not really pushing yet, but they're going to be able to clear this out here pretty soon. And I think Leon's missed a whole wave and a half at this point.
Does still have those 2 big minions in the lane though, so should be able to get those. Be interesting to see if that plays out differently, because the gold is actually now in favor of G2, so getting those extra CS in the lane has been great for Hundor. Needs to be careful in this ranged into melee matchup, but once again we see Mouse being the team that goes aggressive, and Sigil will heal up Hundor. That's one of the benefits, of course, of Lyra, is getting that healing out, one of the few roams that we have that can actually do that alongside Grace. Hundor getting the point out, but Mouse just keeping 3 people basically in the lane for the time being, while Dark Potato farms up his Treant. Gonna continue to pressure in onto this G2 turret.
Yeah, definitely smart to keep them pressured up there, as letting Hundor come online is huge, but Dark Potato's going down.
The infinite reboot. Leon's here with the glimmers and doing a lot of work already. The frontline is dead, and now Dark Potato has no way of getting away. Justman just about survives, and Hundor left his team for dust there. Mousesports 4-0 up, taking away the Treants, taking away all the camps in the back of the jungle of G2, and they are looking very strong early on.
Yeah, Mouse making sure they keep the pressure up early. They cannot let this Blackfeather and the Alpha come online. However, similarly, I'm the Doom and Leon are also looking for a late game power spike and can be very potent. This was really coined as the Siege composition at one point. The Kestrel and the Samuel able to make rotations up in the lane, keep the lane pressure up, keep the wave forced, get that splash damage down on the turret while damaging enemies as well. And it's such a potent composition if you use it correctly. However, if you don't push correctly, if you allow Dark Potato and Hundor to scale to an uncontrollable point, and you don't have turret lead on them, it makes it very difficult for the side of Mouse to be able to close out the game.
That it does, but at the moment they are in the ascendancy. Almost 2,000 gold ahead, only 4 minutes in. They've got to kill a minute, and they continue to be able to pressure into the jungle of G2. Very much on G2 to find a way to stop this this sinking feeling that a lot of their fans will have at the moment, because Hundor takes another chunk of damage from I'm the Doom, who's already got the Eclipse and Heavy Prism. Will be looking to go towards that first CP item very soon. Sorrow Blade as well, already completed on Leon. And even though Leon lost some farm early on in that lane, he's already up in CS as well. So very difficult indeed for G2 to actually do much around this Mouse squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we haven't been able to see a good team-wide rotation up to the lane where Leon and I'm the Doom are able to get a lot of push. And I'm a little interested to see what I'm the Doom does go with for his first tier 3 item. He obviously could be looking towards the Shatterglass, or he could be looking towards that Dragon's Eye that will allow him to scale up his damage heavily. There's the Dragon's Eye there. So as he lands those Malice and Verdicts, he will start to scale up Crystal Power, making each subsequent Malice and Verdict all the more powerful as they're making a rotation up from behind now.
Great flank on towards Hundor, but he's going to use the boots to get away. Keanu does the same. Great right bulwark from him to slow out the Mousesports lineup, and Mouse will just have to settle for some lane pressure here. Hundor's going to try and come back around. It's caught out by those glimmers, down to less than half. Keanu puts the sigil out and just about keeps himself alive. Here's Dark Potato from the side, trying to re-engage onto Mouse, but they can just turn this one back around if they want. Leon steps forward. Keanu takes a couple of glimmers to the back, but those arrows are not quite finding their mark. That one will, though. The one-shot, one-kill is indeed impressive from Leon. He's 3-0-2, and this will be a turret push from Mousesports.
Yeah, Mouse looking to take the advantage now. With Keanu Nakoa down, there's going to be substantially less sustain for Hundor here in the lane. I mean, look at the Glimmer Shots choking him down, and he doesn't have any way to actually heal up shy of his Serpent's Mask. Minion Candy used on the wave. Can they find this turret?
Just about. Leon will get it with that final auto attack, and Mousesports 6 minutes in have a 3,000 gold lead, have yet to lose a kill, and have broken that first turret of G2. And this is not the G2 that wanted to perform today. They are looking for that world spot, but to do it, they have to win these games. They have to be able to get more points than SK over the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely, and that's going to be a difficult task to do. Obviously, SK, you know, holding quite a lead. You know, G2 was able to come through big last weekend, but, you know, been SK winning out almost every other weekend that we've had. So they definitely are the #1 team. I think they are the expected favorites to make it to World, as well as probably have the best chance as far as their performance would go at Worlds, at least I would think. SK, very adaptable team, very good at picking up new things and excelling with it. So that's kind of when we shift from a meta of the current patch we're playing on now to what's going to be played on at Worlds. It's definitely going to require that adaptability, as time is going to be pressured onto these players pretty substantially. And G2, you know, again, if they lose here to Mouse, it's almost pretty much going to be the end of their run.
It's, of course, a best-of-3 series, so even if they lose this first game, they can come back. But it's such a devastating blow to lose out early on. Keanu goes in with a bright bulwark, tries to lock up the Mousesports lineup, but the sentry does fall, and Mousesports just taking what they want, basically, out of the jungle of G2. The one-shot, one-kill. Looking for some damage onto Dark Potato, can't quite connect with it. And now, Mousesports have completed the second round of items. Leon has a Tyrant's Monocle to go with his Sorrow Blade. You can see I'm the Doom building up as well. Dragon's Eye completed for him first, as you said. And it's a fountain for Just Man with a Dragon Hearts sitting in his inventory. I'd like to see what I'm the Doom actually decides to go after this Dragon Eye, because I feel there's quite a few options on Samuel at the moment.
Yeah, definitely a couple options. I would think that we're going to go towards the Broken Myth and the Eve of Harvest. That's the typical 3-item spike that we look for out of a Samuel, whereas Leon going to go into a second Monocle, and then that Tornado Trigger or the Bonesaw into a Black Feather and an Alpha, probably going that Bonesaw. Keanu Nakoa taking, oh my goodness!
So much damage from Malice and Verdict. Oblivion comes out as well from I'm the Doom, trying to get that final connection, but Keanu is able to keep himself alive, stays around as well with the Imperial Sigil. This could be a little bit dangerous for that Lyra. Needs to be careful as to how she positions coming into this next portion of play, because Mouse are not going to give up too easily here. Drifting Dark turret falls. That's 2 turrets before the 10-minute mark. Is this NA, I say to myself. Perhaps you brought some good luck across with you, Denominate. Dark Potato goes solo. The engage with the Bright Bulwark. There's the Infinite Reboot as well. He gets back in with the Prime Directive. The Fountain is enough to heal them up. And now Hundor on the back line is going to get caught out by all 3 members of Mouse. Somehow they gain an extra man in the middle of that fight, but they still get it. The one-shot, one-kill does not connect onto Keanu. Mouse still unkillable it seems in this game as they secure another kill for themselves.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned why Hundor went in quite as far as he did. Dark Potato used the termination protocol, wasn't able to find anything, and then obviously in that downtime, he's unable to move, he's unable to attack, he's unable to follow in any sort of sense. And Hundor dove right in, Justman dropped down a gauntlet. Hundor at that point had already used both charges of Rose offensive, trying to catch up and kill Leon, ended up giving up his own life, resulting in a 6th kill on the board for Mouse, and was not able to acquire the first one for G2. So Mouse, they've got to be feeling pretty comfortable right now. Obviously, this time around, they have Leon added on to their roster, and many people actually consider Leon to be one of the best, if not the best player in all of Europe. So Mouse definitely looking to have something of this second split.
Mouse are just looking so strong now as well. 4,000 gold ahead, 6 kills to naught, got 2 turrets as well. You can try and solidify some vision control. In fact, they're just going for the sentry here. They want to take it down once again. G2 have no answer. Dark Potato only sitting on an aftershock at the moment. He is almost at that second completed item, but not there yet. Hundor has got the Serpent's Mask and the breaking point, so he can carry in these fights. He can get some breaking point stacks up. It seems to be so difficult against Leon, who's so slippery in that backline. And the gauntlet separating the team out is so good for Mousesports.
Yeah, it's been an unbearably difficult composition for the side of G2 to try to deal with. They don't have a captain that can soak up that frontline damage, which relies... Oh, here we go!
Here they go all in with the Bright Bulwark. They're going to get the damage down. Dark Potato goes into the Infinite Reboot. Just about survives, and Leon there as well. Just getting this damage down. Great gauntlet, but Leon's already dead. And now Hundor needs to turn away from Doom, who has those Malice and Verdict stacking up the gauntlet onto Dark Potato. He gets stunned, but he's chasing in. It's a double kill for Hundor, and a great hit for G2. Doom trying to dodge away, trying to get the Malice and Verdict. Dodges the Prime Directive superbly well. And now Sports will survive with only 1 member, but a great fight from G2 there to be able to pick up 2 kills.
It was substantial for G2 there. They capitalized very quickly on Leon and I'm the Doom coming in just a little bit too far on their chase. It was Kiana Nakoa turned around very quickly with the Arcane Passage, and they were able to get the damage down onto Leon, take him down quickly. Justman fell as well. I'm the Doom was able to make it out and protect the turret, and that's kind of the opportune moment off the back of that bad fight for the side of Mouse, is that they didn't lose anything objectively on it. The gold mine did not get taken, that first turret did not get dropped. So G2, although they find a fight, all they find is a little bit of bounty gold in their pocket. They don't get any kind of objective control regained, and they're sitting down 2 turrets at this point at the 12-minute mark, 6-2, as well as being down still 4,000 gold right now.
Leon just finished his second Tyrant's Monocle as well, and the Echo for Justman. Double Gauntlet can be so impactful in these fights, especially when you're trying to lock down people as slippery as an Alpha or as a Black Feather. Here comes the engage. Leon needs to get away, trying to dodge away from Hundor, the stealth, the active Chemo, but the Fountain is not enough. The Oblivion comes down, only puts 1 to sleep. That's Dark Potato taking a nap in the middle of a team fight. I'm sure his team will try and wake him up. He's going to try and re-engage with the Prime Directive, but Hundor's on the chase, and I'm the Doom is dead, and Hundor is carrying these fights. He is everything that G2 need right now, and he will get the double, looking for the triple onto Justman as well, who's dodging as much as he can, but won't be able to do it. It's a triple for Hundor, and that is a great fight for G2.
Yeah, G2 are at that point in the game. Dark Potato has his Aftershock. He has his Dragon's Eye. Hundor has his Serpent's Mask. He has his Breaking Point. He's able to ramp up in the fights and then come through that strong execute damage. And just like that, after the back of that ace, they do find themselves a gold mine there, a 400 payout to each of the members, and they've been able to pick up 5 kills as well in the past couple of minutes. That gold lead that was 5,000 a couple minutes ago is roughly 2,500 now, so definitely can see that gold lead closing in as this Black Feather is starting to come online. It is Samuel trying to get to that 3rd offensive item spike, but he needs to get defense as soon as he can, and Justman needs to get an Atlas built to try and slow down the attacks out of Hundor. There's no reason for him to have the Iron Guard contract in his pocket at this point. We're too late in the game for that to be an effective item. He should sell it off, get the 150 gold, and either put that into some additional vision or updating his armor.
Try and get away from Hundor, really. That's what he's doing. He's just doing it so well, being able to catch on towards that backline. Mousesports now perhaps a bit rocked. They're still 2,000 gold ahead, but they need to be incredibly wary as to how they actually take the fights against G2. We've seen The engage from Keanu goes in with the arcane passage. Bright Bulwark stops the disengage. And against Arden, that Bright Bulwark is so effective. It stops the gauntlet coming out straight away. If you can catch onto him, he has to dodge around as much as he can to be able to actually use his own ultimate. You see the Eve onto I'm the Doom now, so he's got 3-item spike with the Broken Myth and the Dragon's Eye, but needs these fights to be a bit more extended so he can actually get some stacking going on that Dragon's Eye.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be requiring I'm the Doom to play his battle kiting a little bit. Leon has gone into an Aegis now, has not quite gotten into that 4th offensive item, so he can't really blow up the front line of G2 at this point in the game. G2 has the turret pushed, but when Hundor and Dark Potato are diving in, it makes it difficult for Leon to constantly land those glimmer shots onto one target. And with Keanu Nakoa and Hundor both having that metal jacket complete, and Dark Potato working into one of his own, the glimmer shot. Oh, hold on. Arcane passage.
Gage comes out. The Oblivion isn't going to land. Hundor with the Rose offensive. Dark Potato getting onto Leon as well. A great gauntlet stuns up too, though. Hundor still running in. Second gauntlet with a great stun onto Hundor, and now he has to try and retreat. Dark Potato's running in, but the active camera stops him in his tracks, and Leon turns it back around with the one-shot, one-kill. Only hits onto Keanu. G2 able to run for the wins as Mouse look for the chase. The Malice and Verdict comes out from I'm the Doom, waiting for that next Drifting Dark, waiting for a little bit of movement speed to get him back in the fight, but they cannot quite find it. There's the Drifting Dark. Dark Potato, perhaps overextended, jumps back in with the Prime Directive. That's going to be a lot of damage from the Infinite Reboot. Only hits on Just Man though. Right Bulwark from Keanu to try and keep Dark Potato alive. Leon turning it back around. He's low on energy, he's low on health, and he's low on incentive to go in. Mousesports able to turn the engage around, but do not get a kill onto G2.
No, unfortunately they weren't. Dark Potato was looking like he was going to drop there. He did make a very aggressive play, turned around with that Termination Protocol, used the Prime Directive in, but a good Boots proc coming out of I'm the Doom got him away to safety and in. And when the Infinite Reboot kicked in and Alpha wasn't able to do anything, Mouse did come in, put their attention down, try to find the kill, but they weren't able to. And now it's G2 looking for the first turret of the game, but with all of Mouse here, I don't think they can find it. Can Mouse pull off a victory here over G2, who have looked so fantastic for the past couple weeks? I don't know, Medic. We don't know yet as a team, but soon enough we'll know, as Hundor working on that 3rd offensive item now. He has the Sorrow Blade, or the Serpent's Mask. He has the Breaking Point. He's working into a Sorrow Blade for his 3rd item. He has the defense to sustain, and the longer these fights go, that's where Hundor is going to be able to start to really take things.
Alongside that, if I'm the Doom can get some stacking up, he does have a lot of damage. Got the Pierce from the Broken Myth, got the Dragon's Eye as well, so I'm the Doom can threaten in these fights. Leon, not so much anymore because of the metal jacket and the coat of plates on Dark Potato. He's pretty tanky with this armor, so we'll have to see what this Samuel can do. Dark Potato chunked out a little bit by Just Man in that front line. Needs to dodge around a little bit because that flare is the only thing revealing G2 for the time being. Prime Directive in, active camo there. I'm the Doom needs to dodge away. There's the Drifting Dart to try and get him out of Great Oblivion, but that's blocked up, and Hundor on towards the back line. The fountain comes out. The Gauntlet will stun up that Lyra. She's caught out, but Hundor is on the front line. The second Gauntlet doesn't really work. Leon not able to get the stun off towards the side. I'm the Doom is fighting up against Dark Potato, but Hundor has cleaned up the rest of this fight. And I'm the Doom is just going to have to try and dodge around as much as he can. Keanu doesn't fall because of that Imperial Sigil at the end. Dark Potato may, though. This turret's getting a lot of damage down. There's one. Hundor does not have a Rose offensive, so cannot chase into I'm the Doom. And I'm the Doom makes a 1-for-2 trade.
Best of a bad situation for him, was able to take down that Alpha, but it's going to be G2 starting up the Kraken. They don't have their full force here, so it is going to take them some time, and I'm the Doom definitely capable of making a rotation down here. The Oblivion is not available, but the Drifting Dark is, and those Empowered Malice and Verdicts don't even have to hit the Kraken. If Hundor or Keanu Nakoa get hit near it, oh, but they have vision. Here we go. On time the Doom.
Hundor just chases in. That's exactly what he needed to do there. Hundor has had such a comeback in this game. 7-2-1 now. Remember that this was like 6-0 or something crazy for Mousesports for a long time. They were a long way ahead, but now we'll see the turnaround. The one-shot, one-kill isn't going to quite connect, and Just Man is trying to steal this one away. Won't get it with the Blood for Blood, and Hundor now on the chase. Rose offensives in. Leon puts down the active camo, but there's a scout trap there, spotting him out. Hundor can chase back in with the Feint of Heart, trying to get those stuns in. They're locked down onto them as well. The active camo turns it back around onto Keanu, who goes down to half, but that's the kill. And Hundor has secured one for himself. Dark Potato chasing onto Leon. Great flare there from Keanu to spot out the Kestrel, and eventually you have to feel he'll go down. Dark Potato trying to do what he can, but a good active camo once again. Leon doesn't get the stun onto Hundor. It's a superb reflex block for the block Dark Potato will go into the infinite reboot there underneath the turrets as well. Kraken pushing in, G2 only have one more member to push through, and Mouse looking very much on the ropes.
Yeah, things were looking good for Mouse in that mid game, but now Hundor is online. He actually sold the additional heavy steel that he had and went into a bone saw, trying to, I guess get through the armor that Justman has, because Leon does not have armor, nor does he have room for it in his kit.
Oblivion will get the sleep down, but this Kraken is pushing in still. Mousesports members here, of course. Leon back up. Gauntlet. I'm the Doom dies, but that's a great start onto Hundor. Can they kill him before he rests? No. The healing flask is just enough to keep Hundor alive, and this Kraken pushing in. G2 will accept the fact they got 2 turrets off it and let Mouse take it down. They are now ahead in terms of gold, ahead in kills as well. 1 shot, 1 kill. Doesn't actually do too much there. Yeah, Kraken will get a lot of damage down onto this crystal turret as well. So Mousesports very much on the defensive, whereas G2 seem to have turned this game around, and they actually get a second turret with it as well. Leon eventually clears out the Kraken.
Yeah, down to 1 turret for the side of Mouse, and G2 is looking poised to pick up some points here on this matchup against them. We'll have to see if they're able to close everything out cleanly. Again, Hundor, at a point in his build, he's actually sold out his boots, and now has 4 offensive items, 2 defensive items, no boots on this Blackfeather, and he is looking for just one last fight to close out this game. If he does get himself in a sticky situation, he can get in and out with that Rose offensive, but it only has 2 charges, and if he's using that to chase down a fight, it is going to be difficult for him to actually use it to avoid any sort of crowd control.
All on Hundor, you have to feel in these fights. He's the one who's getting onto that backline. He's the one who's making the big plays. Full infusions on the side of Mousesports. Still missing one. Keanu eventually gets that. Everyone is infused up. Everyone's basically at full build as well. And G2 have the composition that works a little bit better in these team fights. If they can get on towards Leon, who is 4-0, now 4-4 on this Kestrel. Mousesports setting up towards the side. No echo on Justman right now, so he couldn't echo that gauntlet if he did in a fight at this current time, but it's back up in 6 seconds, so he'll be pretty confident just waiting that one out. Dark Potato needs to get back and get himself an infusion quickly. Not sitting one at the moment, has enough gold to get one. Realize, there he goes.
He's got one in his pocket.
Oh, he's got one in his pocket. Yeah, of course he has. Look at inventories, that's where time being. When do you pop it though? Do you pop it and go for Kraken right now? Know that Mousesports don't have the vision control.
Likely looking to pop it right before a fight breaks out. That way you get the most time activatable in it possible. If the Kraken's not contested, then you're wasting time ticking down on that infusion. Here we go. He's probably going to pop it right now that Mouse is coming in.
Kraken goes down. No pop yet. We'll see if he does use it. Has yet to do. And Keanu's so low in that backline, but Hundor's going to do some work as I'm the Doom trying to dodge out. Justman just about surviving. There's the kill. 1 for 1 thus far. Hundor using the most offensive to get away, but he's gone down as well. And Dark Potato has eventually popped that infusion, but he's running away from the rest of his team as they are all lying scattered to the winds in that jungle. Mousesports able to take a 2-for-1 trade and will get this Kraken. You have to think before perhaps it even gets to those crystal turrets.
Yeah, definitely looking at doing so. Kestrel does so much damage to the objectives. Samuel as well does not move out of the skill shots. That's where the most damage comes out of these heroes. Even these minions wailing on the Kraken a little bit, helping out Mouse. This Kraken is already dropping so low. It might get a hit off on the turret, but that's going to be about all she wrote.
Interesting to see that Hundor has no boots at all as well. He's gone, Breaking Point, Solar Blade, Metal Jacket, Serpent's Mask, Bonesaw, and Aegis. Deciding you don't need the boots on this Black Feather. You can just Rose offensive around the team, and the Faint of Heart, of course, gives you a jump as well. So still very mobile, even without the boots in your back pocket, or on your feet, as they probably would be. If you keep boots in your back pocket, they don't make you any more mobile.
No,
probably makes you slower, actually.
Yeah, probably uncomfortable to run and walk, so definitely want them on your feet. But Dark Potato has a Shiver Steel now for his last item, and again, we were talking about it earlier. That's not an item we see too much anymore, but looking to keep either Leon or I'm the Doom locked in. Here's the Arcane Passage.
The engage, that's by Walkers will fall, but so much damage. The Gauntlet comes out, and already we've seen Leon's just dead. King Gauntlet doesn't stun up anyone. What are you doing, Just Man? That's not where you want to be placing them. He's going to get chased out at the end here. G2 looking for the win here. They will kill Just Man eventually, you have to think. Trying to dodge and make it as difficult as possible, but he will accept his fate and fall to the hands of Hundor, and G2 able to turn this game around after being so far behind early on. They will take that final Crystal Turret, and they will take the Vayne as well to win the game against Mousesports.
At G2 in a good spot, looking for points this weekend. Again, they are the closest team, and actually very close to SK at this point. And the whole reason that Hundor was able to sell his boots, it does rely a lot on your actual skill timings and what you are mechanically capable of doing. But the Fate of Heart gives you a burst of movement speed for 3 seconds. Obviously, you mentioned the Rose offensive can give you a little bit of ability to dance around a fight. And then the slow coming out of on point can kind of help keep you in range too. Ends up working out for them in the end as Hundor pulls out an amazing performance, 12-3-3 on this Black Feather. That one's going to close out game number 1?
Yes. Game number 1. We're going to hand it over to the desk to break down game number 1 and lead us into game number 2.
Thank you very much. G2 take it in the end, but it was definitely a close one. Mouse fighting tooth and nail to try and keep in that series, and there was a lot of mechanical plays that really decided those late game fights. It was all about execution.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't blame Denominate for losing track of if it was game 1 or 2, because it felt like that was 2 separate games going on. Because in the early game, it was all Mouse. It looked like they were going to be able to just roll through this game. But G2 staying with it, waiting until they got to those power spikes that they needed, and turning the things on their head.
Exactly. I mean, we always talk about this between two compositions, one having a stronger mid game and the other having a stronger late game. If the mid game composition does get ahead but is not able to close out the game, the late game stronger composition will come back, and then we'll start winning team fights.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the way that Mouse started things off, because their early game looked incredibly strong, abusing that range advantage that we talked about.
Yeah, abusing the range advantage, and this was off the back of also securing an Elder Treant. Because of that, they felt confident enough to push all the way to the backs of the side of G2. They picked up 2 kills, and after this, they also didn't drop their aggression, but they continued on playing aggressive whenever they were presented with an opportunity. They continuously dove in and secured jungle and took jungle away from G2.
They also didn't overstay, which is a big thing. A lot of times when you see a team get 2 kills like that, they'll hang around, they'll wait and try and take the back camps when they respawn. And then all of a sudden the enemy team respawns themselves and they start coming in, and now you have another fight. And we've seen games in the early game turn around because of things like that. But Mousesports were very smart about it. They got their kills, they got the Treant. They immediately then recall and just say, okay, we got this advantage. Let's reset, get ourselves built back up, and then have the ability to really press that advantage even further.
Yeah, use that gold, buy some items, and actually turn it into a physical advantage, not just a gold advantage going on in. Let's take a look at some of the moments following that one, because this was G2 really starting to get a hold of things, and specifically Hundor.
Yeah, and I mean, Hundor here, again, he had so much ability to come back in this game. With the decisions that they made, his ability to get these scaling items up to 20 breaking point stacks. Once you have full stacks, it is just so effective. And again, it's so difficult to get away from a Black Feather. A great job there by Keanu as well to keep aggro on the Treant, so that the Sentry, so that it didn't slow Hundor down. But I mean, the rest of this game, most of it is just a Hundor highlight reel, because he was playing so exceptionally well after that early game.
Yeah, he really was. And even later on, when he sold his boots and picked up these the 6th item, which was a 4th offensive item, DI9 and I talked about it a little bit, and the idea behind it is that Black Feather's kit allows you to be able to do that. Allows you to rely on your Faint of Heart and your Rose Offensive to use that for mobility, and then Lyra bring in her Ward Treads and the Portal. That also gives you huge mobility that you can rely on.
Yeah, and you look across the entire team, it all works out with not having to have those boots. You have the Bulwark from Lyra to slow down opponents. You have the Sigil to speed you up and slow down opponents. The Portals to get deep into the backlines. Black Feather has plenty of slows. Alpha, if you overdrive the Prime Directive, has an 80% AoE slow on that ability. So because of the rest of the team composition, as well as what Black Feather had in his kit, it made it so it was I was able to be able to sell those boots and get more items instead.
Absolutely. Now, we did see Mousesports coming back a little bit, but it was G2 that took things in the end. Let's take a look at the final fight of the game as G2 pushed things home and managed to take this one.
Yeah, I mean, this was the very last team fight. They were able to close out the gap on Kestrel with a very decisive portal coming out from Keanu, and that's how they were able to eliminate her early on. Once that happens, the team fight is really easy to win from that point on, just because Blackfeather and Alpha were still very healthy, and taking down Samuel is not the hardest thing, and then they secure the kill on Arden, end up finishing the game after that.
And in this fight, and even a couple others, I was very surprised at Justman's gauntlet placements. Many of them were not that great. I mean, he used 2 gauntlets there, and neither of them was even a threat for a stun. So the positioning of those gauntlets was very uncharacteristic of what we normally see out of Justman with this hero.
Also, the fact that Keanu maxed his ultimate gave him the longer range on that portal was a huge factor, because you could see how long of a distance they closed with that portal to be able to get on top of the Kestrel. That's why Leon didn't expect it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at the damage dealt during that game as well. As we saw, it was Hondor topping that table. But look at the damage coming out from I'm the Doom in that one. In fact, over double that of Dark Potato. And that's just the power that you get with that Samuel pick.
Yeah, and again, we've talked about this in previous weeks. The AoE damage from the Samuel kind of inflates those numbers a little bit. And the fact that there is healing available on the side of their opponents also allows it so you have to do more damage to be able to find kills, but the damage numbers not always telling the full story of a game.
I mean, not only that, but the fact that the composition from G2 was a lot tankier, it meant that it could take more damage. It was a lot more durable, so you need to do a lot more damage to take it down, and that's why you see the numbers being higher on the side of Mousesports.
Absolutely, but you still got to give like a small round of applause for the sheer amount of damage I'm the Doom managing to do. Let's get into the next draft though. It's going to be Rhyme and Cruel, the first 2 bands for this one. G2 have to decide whether they want that Black Feather for Hondor again. The answer is yes.
And it's just something that is very, very comfortable. Again, may not necessarily be going to Hondor. That's one of the other great strengths of this Black Feather pick. Not only is it just one of the strongest picks on this update, regardless of if you put it in Weapon or Crystal, but you can then have that flexibility of choosing where you want to go with it once you're a bit later on in the draft.
Now it's on Mousesports to try and answer. Last time they went for the Kestrel, it did decently, but it did not win them the game. So whether they're going to want to go for a similar hero or decide to go for a Vox, for example, or a Rona even that works really well against the Black Feather, we'll have to wait and see.
A Grace pickup for them. This is a team, we talked about it before the series started. They have run this Weapon Grace before, so just because they have that picked up does not mean that it's going to be a captain. They could still look to take another captain off the board here and try and maybe take that Arden away from G2 perhaps, but if they don't, I mean, even if they do, there's still options for G2. There's still the Catherine available, and there's still Churnwalker if they want to go that route. There's plenty of choices, so it's really just going to be up to Mousesports. I would like to see them pick a more carry-focused hero, just so that they can keep that sort of ambiguity going, and that's exactly what they do with the Vox.
Yeah, I mean, they're going for the Vox here. It does work really well against the Black Feather, obviously, just because you're able to kite him away. What would be very strong here for G2 is to put the Black Feather in the jungle as CP and pick up Kestrel in lane, because that means now you have the range advantage instead of allowing it to be on the Vox. You can apply a lot of pressure, you can siege even, and try to burst him down as he tried to approaches you, or as he tried to approach you later on in teamfights.
Okay, we'll see what G2 are going to lock in here. Kestrel's still available on the board. Nobody banning that one away, so could be something that G2 look towards and send that Black Feather on into the jungle, but there's plenty of jungle picks still available as well. We've seen the Alpha come out from Dark Potato last game that could basically run a very similar composition to what we just saw, except with an Arden instead. So definitely options available for them.
Yeah, lots of ways you can go, and that's, again, one of the great things about Update 2.9 is that there is so much flexibility. There's so many options available. They are going to take that Kestrel. It's just, again, a very strong combo. Having the Black Feather and the Kestrel are both incredibly powerful heroes, and you pair an Arden with them, and suddenly they both become that little bit of extra durability thanks to the Vanguard. Mousesports, though, they're going to take this Alpha. I still love the Alpha Grace combo. I think, being able to keep that alpha alive for such a long time, especially deep in the enemy's backline, is such a strong strength.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely much more of a brawling composition coming out from Mousesports this time. With the Vox, you know, it's not a long-range carry. You do have to kind of get in the thick of it a little bit, and then alongside the Alpha and the Grace, we could see them being much more up in the grills of G2 this time around.
No, for sure. I mean, they will have to play aggressive and they will have to dive later on, especially with the Vox being able to follow up very effectively. That's going to be their strategy. However, G2 do have a very good kiting composition with the Kestrel and the Ard and the Gauntlets placed defensively. They could do a lot of work. And as Alpha goes up to the front line, she could be eliminated before she does any damage.
We'll see if they are going to be able to eliminate the Alpha during those fights and whether they can bring this one to their favor. How are we feeling the early game is going to go? Obviously, we've had Kite versus Aggression in the last game. It went G2's way. Is it going to be the same story?
It should still be a similar story with the Kite and Aggression, you know, kind of going back and forth, just with the roles almost swapped a bit here. But the one thing that I think is going to be extremely important to me is the communication and coordination of these teams, especially with Grace Alpha. If you get the Grace ultimate and Alpha uses her ultimate at the same time, all of a sudden the Grace ultimate gets wasted because you're going to be falling no matter what. The heal won't go through.
All right, we'll see if they can get those heals off during those fights. It's going to be absolutely pivotal. Hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know who you think is going to take this one. G2 could move on to the semifinals, keep their world's hopes alive. But Mousesports, they're looking to ruin everything. We'll see. It's time to pass it over to Medic and Denominate.
Thank you very much, Munch. I am joined by Denominate for this. Could be the final game of this series between G2 and Mousesports. We had an epic struggle between the two of them in game one, and once again we see a very intriguing composition from both sides, because G2 do have a lot of this poke, you know, they're poking in, you've got glimmer shots, you've got the on points, and then you've got the gauntlets there to help you lock down your enemy. Whereas now we see Mousesports going for a much more engaged, disengaged, kite around composition, as they were saying on the desk.
As well as Leon is going to be going into the jungle here on this alpha. Obviously, that is something that Mouse kind of have that can be helpful or hurtful to them. As, yes, it is nice to have some flexibility and keep your opponents guessing, but if you're not specializing your needs into one position, it can cause you to be a little bit sloppy in some of the finer details of those rotations, the micro and macro interactions in the game. So Justman gonna be on this Grace. Sorry, Bacon, not gonna be a weapon Grace, but that Divine Intervention can be used to help secure Leon's damage in a fight, can keep him topped up so that he can continue to come in with those core charges, and with the Prime Directives scaling up that damage, he'll likely go with the Dragon's Eye. Or alternatively, if the poke is too much out of Hundor and Dark Potato onto I'm the Doom, he could also heal him up as well, especially once that Echo comes online and you get the second charge of that ability. You can definitely start to take fights away really quickly. But we saw the Kestrel and the Crystal Blackfeather work earlier. The amount of poke that comes out of these two heroes is absolutely insane.
Yeah, and it's just so difficult to deal with as well. You've got the base there for some healing, but that's her ultimate. You know, you don't want to be using Divine Intervention willy-nilly. You don't want to be using it all the time, and if you echo it out as well, makes these teams like it's a lot more difficult. Really what we want to see from Mouse is a bit more hard engage. You know, they need to be jumping in, they need to be getting into that fight, getting into the faces of G2, like they did at the start of the last game. They just weren't quite able to carry that good form. And later game, Justman going to try and steal away this Treant, but it goes to Dark Potato, and now Dark Potato can turn back around onto Justman. They know that Leon has snuck through here. Going to get the Prime Directive over the wall, and the chase is on from I'm the Doom as he looks for a flank here. Mousesports trying to catch the cat as Dark Potato dodges around as much as he can. Look at the damage onto Leon. Does, of course, have that infinite reboot. Keanu here has the Vanguard to try and jump back in. Shields up Dark Potato, and down comes Hundor. The re-engage with the Prime Directive, but the Glimmer Shots are now going to rain down from Pound Town as Hundor gets some DPS in from the side. I'm the Doom pops his boots to try and get away. Good double stun with the Holy Nova. Leon still has that passive up, can regenerate, can come back into this fight. The Prime Directive, Dark Potato will be the first to fall. Leon goes down into the passive as well, and G2 realise they cannot take any more of this fight. Hill to Mouse, and a bit of an overextension from Dark Potato.
That was a crazy fight. That's probably one of the first times that I've ever actually seen all 6 healing flasks get used in a matter of seconds of each other. And it ends up being Dark Potato the first to fall. But it's not over yet for G2. They did start off last game on the back foot a little bit too. Obviously, we're waiting for this Kestrel to come online. We're waiting for the poke out of Dark Potato to come online as well. So it does take a little bit of time for these two heroes to ramp up. Obviously, Arden without his gauntlet as well. So we'll have to see if they're able to pull things through in the late game. Leon on this alpha is going to look to get to that backline. He's going to look to be on Hundor as frequently as possible. But Dark Potato has got the Elder Tree out there.
Be careful. Leon has got that passive back up right now. So Dark Potato, if he can take him out, just gets the kill. Justman unable to save his alpha. And we said this was a problem. You don't have the healing that you would from the Lyra. Justman might even go down here as Hundor goes for the chase, but Justman is able to get away with those boots. With the I'm the Doom getting poison shivved first here, try and reduce the healing coming out from G2.
And more importantly, trying to reduce some of the barriers that Arden provides at this point in the game as well. Obviously, reducing the damage of the flask and the fountain are useful as well, but that mortal wound has effect on other sources of barrier and fortified health as well, so that's going to be huge. You can limit what Dark Potato is able to barrier himself with, and we know that's one of the most essential things to a Blackfeather, is being able to shield yourself from that damage. If you take that away from him, it does keep him, true to that assassin nature that Blackfeather is, and can allow you to turn damage onto him very quickly, as I'm the Doom going to be in the lane on bot. Very likely, obviously, he's got the Poison Shiv. He's going to go into a Sorrow Blade and a Breaking Point, or a Tension Bow and a Breaking Point. We've seen a couple players pull out as well. So we'll see what route he ends up going, and if he's able to ramp up enough in the fights, be able to take down Dark Potato and Keanu Nakoa and leave Hundor kind of straggling in the backline.
Hundor now has got that Sorrow Blade as well, so we'll be starting to output some DPS on this Kestrel. We've seen a mixed bag from Kestrel players. It feels like if you get caught out, that active camo only gives you so much protection. Sometimes you really need that secondary line of protection, which is what the Ardent can provide if those gauntlets are well placed. Yet to hit that level 6 yet though, so not quite got that ultimate ability, nor has Hundor, as I'm the Doom and Leon have picked up their level 6s. They have a little bit more fighting power at the moment, but neither team seems to want to fight. Still searching for that world spot, of course. They need to win today, and they need to be able to beat SK, get the extra points throughout these weeks to close the 6-point gap that exists between the two of them at the moment.
Yeah, both of these teams trying to be pretty cautious here, as there's so much on the line. It is a wait for it that comes out, but no follow-up from the team on it. So that ability is going to be down now for over a minute, as Leon does have that termination protocol available now. 1 shot, 1 kill available for Hundor as well. A little bit shy on the Gauntlet and on the Divine Intervention.
Gauge from Leon. Not quite going to get too much there. Prime Directive does go in. Dark Potato finding these opportunities to dodge in and out incredibly effectively, getting poke off but not taking too much damage in return. That's what you have to do. 1 shot, 1 kill. Does hit onto Leon, and Dark Potato's going in for the chase here, trying to get him out before he gets back through that infinite reboot, but he will respawn, and now they can try and turn this fight around. Mouse with a good positioning. Great double Holy Novas with the knockup. Glimmer shots from Hundor from the side. Leon goes down first. Dark Potato now turns his eyes back towards Justman and says, I want a piece of you too, champ. I'm the Doom running away from Hundor. Another great Holy Nova with a double knockup. Keanu actually jumps the wall, and Dark Potato needs to be careful because I'm the Doom is on the chase. Keanu coming in from the side. That's a kill with the scout trap. Where is Hundor? He's fighting the backs. He's going to lose his roam here if he's not careful. I'm the Doom coming in with a chase. Hundor did get the Treant to regen. There is the Glimmer. Here comes the Gauntlet. Justman now in the midst of 2 members of G2, trying to get his way away, but stunned up with the active camo. A good kill for Hundor, and Keanu was saved by his laner.
That ends up being a 2-for-1 trade in favor of G2, as now Hundor is going to look to rotate over to the backs and get some ambient gold and experience with Dark Potato. We obviously see him holding that Treant there to make sure that Dark Potato gets the full effect from it as well. And now it's going to be Hundor rotating back up into the lane. Dark Potato has hit level 8, and this is a key point in the game for Blackfeather. He now has the overdrive on his on point. It gives him additional range on that ability, so he can now poke from afar as well as get some bonus damage down as well. You can see the amount of chunking damage that it does to I'm the Doom's health bar.
So effective if you can get the damage in. Watch for G2 in these fights, because sometimes they look a little bit messy, but G2 are always so coordinated, always know exactly the limits of the heroes that they're playing. And the Doom now does have that breaking point as well, though. He's going to be able to get those stacks up so quickly on the Vox, so there is a possibility that if these fights extend I'm the Doom will be able to just take down the members of G2 with the effective stacking from that item. Mouse still showing us why they are such a challenger, why they, you know, some people will talk about them in contention for that wild card for Worlds if they're able to win out the next couple of weeks. If they would have a very good argument for getting that spot, but they don't win today, you have to feel that perhaps their contention for it is out because other teams across the world have challenged just that ever so slight bit more.
Yeah, and that's one thing to make note of on that wild card. It is a global wild card. We could see that go to any region that really has a good performance and has a team that looks like they should be going to Worlds. And, you know, for example, looking over at EA, Infamous does not have a World spot currently, at least as far as I know. So that could be another team looking to get up in there as well. And looking to come down here and try to keep some aggression put up. That turret is very, very hurt here, Sona. And I think with the damage that Kestrel has, if they can find a single kill, they can push that turret.
They always get just man down. Leon does have his passive, so we'll be able to respawn if he's the one to fall. I'm the Doom double crit to the back. That is not what you want to see on your carry. He has to pop the healing flask to try and help the defense of this turret, but G2 are on a warpath. They're on a rampage. They do not want to give this one up. Here goes Justman jumping onto the backline. Leon there as well. Pops the reflex, double Holy Nova, but Hundor's still alive on that back. Here, the infinite reboot is going to pop out from Leon as well as he used that termination protocol. Justman in the front line, but already the kill onto the Alpha, and Justman is the new target. They're going to jump onto I'm the Doom. He's got 13 stacks. What can he do with the breaking point? Not much, it seems to be, because it's a clean ace. G2 as the defense of the turret fails for Mousesports.
And with that ace, that's now going to be a gold mine and a first turret going over to G2. Hundor on this Kestrel, obviously a couple glimmer shots going to make short work of that objective. Now regrouping with his team, they'll take down this gold mine. Might even poke their head over into the enemy jungle and take away that Treant as well. Actually, it looks like Hundor with 3,000 gold in his pocket just wants to shop. Instead, picks up that second monocle. Basically bought it outright, and that is a huge spike now for this Kestrel. And he's already been doing a good job making short work of I'm the Doom and Leon. He now has more damage. He has a level 9 infusion ready to go in his pocket, and Leon does have some armor built, but he doesn't have that tier 3 yet. So Hundor likely going to get into piercing soon, and that's going to help him bring Leon down before he's able to have a influence on the fight.
It's just so strange to see Leon struggling this much. He's always been touted as, you know, self-proclaimed one of the best players in Europe. In fact, I think he believes that he is the best player in Europe at the moment, and he's got the backup to prove it. You know, in multiple Vainglorious Gold accounts, multiple players saying that he is an incredibly talented, gifted young star. And at times, it just seems like there's a disconnect between his solo queue play and his ability to play on these bigger stages. This game, especially, he seems to be struggling, continually going in for that bit too much aggression, stepping too far forward into G2. And G2 is such a good team, but they capitalize on it at every single opportunity. We're starting to see this poke really come online from Dark Potato. Justman doesn't really have much he can do against the on points. Leon trying to engage onto Keanu off towards the side, but it's just not the same range. Look at that Dark Potato, double damage with the poke. The glimmer shots coming out from Hundor just threatening that turret as well. Already down to less than half. A prime directive from Leon as they look for the engage. Mousesports perhaps desperate, perhaps looking for the final fight here, but G2 are not giving them an inch, not giving them a mile at all. Leon jumps in, Gauntlet comes out. There's the wait for it as well. Leon is on the back line. He's trying to take out Hundor by himself, but the active camo will get Hundor away, and a great stun as well on it towards that back line. Here comes the knock-up. The Holy Nova will get the stun, but it's the first person to fall as Justman goes down. Leon dodging around the fight still. The mortal wounds on Dark Potato isn't going to be enough to keep him alive. There's the termination protocol from Leon into a prime directive. He gets the kill because Kestrel steps into him, but Hundor will get a counter, and now Leon is in a 2v1 situation. This is where you prove your worth. This is where you prove you're the best player in EU. Not today, say G2. They take the ace and only lose a man.
Yeah, it's another fight going over to G2. They were able to drop Hundor, but it's not enough. Dark Potato, with his sustainability, as well as having Keanu Nakoa here, able to help tank him up. They were able to bring down Leon. They get a huge ace wave that Justman and I'm the Doom are now forced to stop from pushing into their next turret. And as a result, Dark Potato is able to take another half rotation out of the jungle of Mouse. There's a 6,000 gold lead at this point, Medic, and with Blackfeather at the Aftershock, he's at the Dragon's Eye already. He is likely going to sell off this flask here very soon and start to work into a third offensive item or upgrade his boots. He's so far picked up a level 12 infusion to back him up, and Hundor with the piercing spear now is a big threat to Leon, who is continuously jumping into that front line. Despite the metal jacket being complete, Leon is very far behind in his damaging build. He's been forced to build a lot of defense, so even if he gets in the fight and survives, he's just not the threat that we know in Alpha to be.
Showing us why they're in contention for that EU World spot as well, continually playing these team fights absolutely perfectly. Even when they lose someone early on, they're able to turn it back around. Now, as you say, with that almost 7,000, more than 7,000 gold lead now, they can just poke in at Mouse, try and prime the trap out the Mousesports lineup. Waiting for this wave to push in. They just want some damage onto this choke turret before that Kraken spawns as well. If they can get that, they can steal away some of the jungle of G2. Maybe even take this sentry down to try and reduce the help that Mouse has in their own jungle.
Sentry defeated.
Absolutely, they just have to be careful to not overstay. That sentry does drop, but here comes Mouse. They could be looking for something. Nope, they're going to back off. And I'm the Doom is actually going for a fourth offensive item. So he has a monocle complete, he has a breaking point, and a poison shiv. And I would have to imagine, since he already has 2 attack speed items, this last one is likely going to be going into a second monocle, since we already see the Lucky Strike. But only time will tell. Justman has also built into a tier 3 armor that metal jacket, but Hundor, he has the bone saw online. He has a tier 2 shield, that kinetic shield, in his pocket as well. So likely looking to go into that Aegis as soon as possible. It's going to allow him to either block up the silence coming out of I'm the Doom, or the Holy Nova coming out of Justman. As now also looking at the builds, Keanu Nakoa looking like he's starting to build towards the echo of his own. Obviously, Justman on Grace already has that ability locked and loaded, but Arden does not quite have the double Vanguard yet, and that is going to be coming out pretty soon.
Dark Potato caught out a little bit down towards the bottom of this fight. Fountain is still available to Keanu. There's the Gauntlet's going to land onto Leon. What a superb placement there. Leon has to pop the Termination Protocol, trying to get back in, but that Gauntlet stuns him up once again, and here go G2, all guns blazing straight onto Leon. They can't quite get him down before he's back in the Infinite Reboot. The Fountain comes out a little bit too late, maybe. The active camo onto G2 will keep them alive for now, and Justman actually getting chased out. One shot, one kill onto Leon. Doesn't get the kill, but gets him down low enough for G2 to continue in with this chase. There's another kill for them. They're looking for the clean 8th. But I'm the Doom can do work. Those breaking point stacks have started to fall off. Going to get back into his jungle. I wonder if G2 actually chased this all the way. And the Doom came forward towards his tree, but it looks like he's going to give that one up. Give it to Dark Potato. And then G2 can turn their eyes towards the Kraken.
Yeah, they're definitely going to turn their attention there very quickly, as Kestrel is able to take it so quickly. And then on top of the Kestrel being able to take the Kraken quickly, we look at the health bars. G2 is all very low on health, but thanks to getting that Kraken, that is going to top their health and energy off. So that's going to make them ready for this next push. It's going to be a shop coming through out of Dark Potato to get one last infusion as they look to hopefully close the game out here. But with 3 turrets between them and a victory, it is going to take them a perfect push to do so. They're going to have to get a kill onto Hundor and onto Leon if they want to end the game. And with the Kestrel playing so far back, once this Kraken starts getting into the base, that's going to be or the Vox playing so far back, once the Kraken gets into the base, it's going to be easy. But they're going in pretty deep.
All engaged. There's the wait for it as well. Gauntlet is going to come out, but it hasn't caught onto Leon, who is facing up against Hundor. Great active camo termination protocol used, and Leon's already dead. And this will be the fight you have to think for G2. Justman getting chased out. I'm the Doom trying to dodge away, but that's a black feather right on his face that he cannot get away from. Does get those breaking point stacks up to 20, but it doesn't matter when you're dead. And G2 get their 14th kill of the game. That's a pretty perfect fight for them, and perhaps it will be a perfect Kraken push as well. 2 turrets remain between them and the Bane, and G2 will take them down in short order. G2 going to go 2-0 up over Mousesports and go through to the semi-finals tomorrow.
G2 making a great performance here today. They do not face off against SK going into the games tomorrow, so unfortunately they don't have the chance to actually deny SK points. So they're going to have to be relying on the other teams here in Europe to bring SK down. Again, making it to the finals grants you an additional 2 points, making it a possible of 8 points in an entire weekend. And G2 being 6 points down, or rather 4 points down now that they won 2 games, they need SK to stop getting points.